It looked like a dog, you know. They call it like the dog man or something. I mean, this thing was built. I mean, this thing was rugged. I mean, it's something I wouldn't want to tangle with it, you know.
One night, I'm sitting there and I had a dead body in my bed.
Yes, that's when I started hearing the doors opening and closing and them walking through the house.
Giant ruby-looking thing appeared in front of me, then one next to it, then a third next to it. The third one opened up a porthole in my room.
Welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methenkamp. On tonight's show, we have the Drunken Cryptids. First off, we have Matthew. He is the host of Drunken Cryptids. He comes in to tell some paranormal and cryptid encounters. And then after that, his co-host, Jacob, joins the live with his own paranormal encounters. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Follow me on Facebook, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. Shoot me a message over there. Or you can join the live by following the link in the description to my TikTok page. We do paranormal lives every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to be on the show there, you just come in, leave a comment, and we'll get you on the show. Have a paranormal story they'd like to share? We're looking for ghosts, Bigfoot, Dogman, Drunken Cryptids entered the chat. Matthew, buddy, I don't have anybody in the box. You want to jump in? There's an invitation sent. We got Matthew coming in. Matthew doesn't have his live set up on TikTok yet. How many followers you got on here, buddy?
Almost 1,000.
Yeah, you need to get your verified so you can come on live with me so we can see that beautiful face. We need it with a mullet.
Well, we got to get to the mullet first.
Right. So everybody, right now, all you have to do is click Drunken Cryptids over here and follow him on here. And then after this live, go over, click his YouTube channel, subscribe, watch last Thursday's episode because it's me. And we got to get him to 350 because I'm sending him a mullet and he's going to wear it in a video. That's the challenge.
I'm going to wear it in a few videos, actually. I'm actually going to put it on and wear it for a full day on my expedition next summer.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So that way, when it's on and it's on the show, you'll see it and you'll be going, up. I know why he's wearing it. So so a part of you will be with me up north.
Yeah, we need to meet in the LBL too.
Yes, I agree. I'm all about the LBL. LBL absolutely fascinates me. The stories, the rumors, the allegations. My favorite one is, and I hate saying it's a favorite one because of the account. It's of the family that got slaughtered, and they found parts of the little one, in a tree, high up in a tree. And the only reason why I consider that like a favorite is because it's almost a validation of what we all, dig into and what we look for and, how we do everything.
And not only the account, but, that whole campground was leveled after the incident.
Yeah, it's like somebody came in and just kind of covered it all up.
Right.
But I will tell you though, your episode that you recorded, you're just talking about, was has been one of the most fun episodes I've done in a long time, and had a blast, absolute blast. And now I know why you have so many followers and such. And you are talking about your YouTube channel as well, aren't you?
Yes. Well, I want everybody to follow mine too. I need 8 more so I can go live on there. So I just started it on Monday, so I'm up to 42 subscribers on there as of 10-15 minutes ago.
Okay, sweet. Because I'll be sharing that on my Facebook page and everything. Make sure you get all that whatever you got to get, whatever I can do to get you up there. So
Yeah, I want to do some lives on there. I think we should be able to do something on there with yourself and Nevermore Hollows.
yeah, that'd be fun. So we recorded an episode this afternoon. It was myself, Nevermore Hollows, and Eric from Uncomfortable. And if you haven't listened to Uncomfortable, I highly recommend you give that show a shot. It's Eric does
always
really good
forget the name. You tell me about him, and I keep forgetting the name. I'm writing them down right now.
There you go. Yeah, Eric from Uncomfortable. So we did a really good one. It's about 2 hours long. It's going to be a Thanksgiving one. So, people sitting around waiting for football to start on Thursday, go ahead and jump in and listen to either my show, Nevermore Hollows, or Uncomfortable. It'll be on all 3 platforms come Thursday.
Yeah, I was a little upset that I couldn't join you guys today, but family comes first.
Family always comes first. I know that much. I got my little ones with me. That's why I wanted to pop in just for a little bit, real quick. Little ones are with me this week. So, and they already asked me, "Are you recording anymore?" I said, "I got to do one little thing here in a little bit, and then I'm done."
Do you have time to tell maybe a short encounter that you had?
Well, let's see here. Let me talk about. Let me come up with
I want something I haven't heard before.
something you haven't heard before. I got because I've been on so many shows. Let me think of one. Let's see here. I lived in a couple of haunted houses. I can't talk. There's one because the episode for Search for Sasquatch that drops this year, and I really can't talk about it until the episode drops. Because that was a creepy night, for sure. With that episode, I don't know. Jason will get a hold of me, let me know when that one drops. Let's see here, the paranormal. Let's see here, the alleged Bigfoot encounter that I had down in Fort Hood. So we have a hot spot we found. I interviewed a guy by the name of Chris here. I have a Jeep. We did me and Jacob went to a Jeep event, and I was handing out stickers. So we ended up. This guy got a hold of it, Chris, and he was like, hey, have you heard of the Skinwalker in Bald Knob? And, my theory, being an armchair researcher for Skinwalkers is there's no Skinwalkers, this far east, in Arkansas. They're going to be more out west. They're going to be more native to, the western states over there, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, all through up in there, Idaho even, possibly over in the Montana. So, I was like, yeah, I've heard something. And so he said, well, I had a crazy encounter. I'd like to talk to you about it. And, and the one thing I like about my show is a lot of people who've had a crazy encounter, they don't know who to talk to. By all means, like you, reach out, talk to me. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to disbelieve you. I'm not going to do any of that at all. I'm actually going to listen. And, obviously I'm going to come up with some other alternatives other than a cryptid or paranormal first. When I ask you questions, which that already for being on my show. But, you've had an encounter to talk about. So Chris did. He sent me this real long email. And, and I was honest. I said, hey, man, I just kind of skimmed through it. And I thought we were talking about one type of cryptid, and he was talking about something else. So he gets a hold of me, and he said, hey, I said he has to do a show, and I figured it'd be a call-in. But he was adamant about coming down and coming to the tavern and sitting down across from me and telling me the story, looking me in the eye. To be, this legitimately happened. And I had no answers for what he had encountered. And so doing research, I believe we found a Nalusa.
Really?
Yes. And I believe that I encountered said Nalusa in our investigation.
Really? So you went out after he came down there and talked to you. You went out on a hunt with him.
Yep. Yeah, if it's close enough, I'm going to go out. The way I looked at what I'm going to do with the show is not only am I going to sit there and just listen to people tell me what happened, but if I get the invite to go investigate it, I'm going to go out and investigate it.
Absolutely.
And the cool thing about it is that we also found evidence of infrasound.
You got hit with ultrasound?
Yeah, I got zapped. I've been zapped. I know for sure once, maybe twice, with infrasound. And if you've been zapped with infrasound, it is absolutely life-changing experience. It does mess you up. When we got back from the investigation, I did not sleep well for about 3 or 4 days. Me and Alan, Alan from Nevermore Hollows, we were talking, and ironic enough, me and Alan had almost the same dream.
Really?
Yeah, we were both out in the dream. We were both separately. Like, he wasn't with me and I wasn't with him, but we were both out cryptid hunting, ironic enough. And we both encountered a giant snake, cryptid hunting, like we're talking like the movie Anaconda size. A snake just slithering up to us. Oh, yeah, I forgot I'm not on a video. I'm trying to make motion with my hand. And it was, in the dream, we both fled in the dream, but I ended up near a house that had a moat, and this gator came out and attacked the snake, of all things. And he just ran through the woods away from it. And we had this dream within 24 hours of each other.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I know, I'm all over the place. I'm going from the lucid to infrasound to crazy dreams with Alan. So, yeah, it was. Yeah, so that's something that we talked about briefly. Me and Alan have on each other's shows, and but yeah, see here, haunted houses. I've seen one full body apparition, which will leave you. Yeah, and it was in color. It wasn't a black and white. It wasn't a hazy. It was an absolutely full body apparition of somebody right there, and it was a split second.
I mean, could you make any details out on like the face or anything?
So the situation was, I was dating this girl when I was stationed in Fort Hood. Fort Hood is just weird in general, and she lived in a trailer park. But so we had, she had cooked dinner, and I was helping wash the dishes, and we were getting ready to watch a movie. Afterward, it was on the weekend. I was off duty, so, and I was standing at her sink, and her kitchen set up, kind of a U shape with the counters, and they have, the little bar right there that looks into the living room, right? So, and there's a little space right there between where the bar was at, in between the kitchen and the said living room, and we were just talking, and in the corner of my eye there was this guy was huge. And he was wearing dark blue, deep blue coveralls. You know the kind I'm talking about? They were the bright blue coveralls with a white T-shirt on. And it was Caucasian male, because I could see his arms. And he was just standing there on the other side of this little bar area. And it was in perfect, vivid color. When I whipped my head to the left to look, it was gone. As I could get eyes on. And the girl, and I turned my head and looked at her. Before I could even respond like I saw something, she goes, "Oh, you saw Bob." And I was like, "I'm sorry, and who is Bob?" And she was like, "It's this, ghost that just kind of follows me around." And I was afraid to tell you about it. And, even in the military, I was all about this stuff. And I was like, I need to know about Bob. So for an hour, this girl commenced to tell me that for most of her adult life, this entity has been following her around. And with my background in the military and stuff, I'm not gonna lie, I would call him out. I'd go over there and go, "What's up, Bob? I'm here for your girl." Being kind of a jerk to Bob, and no wonder why we kind of broke up. But that's beside the point. But yeah, it was a full body apparition, and it was it'll change your mind. Not change your mind, but it'll leave a mark on you.
Right. I never had it. I've never seen anything. If everybody listens to Myths, Monsters, and Mullet episode on Drunken Cryptids, you can hear my ghost encounter. I'm not going to tell it right here. I want everybody to go over to Drunken Cryptids and hear it.
Yeah, you all need to. I mean, it's a great episode. John does a great job. I got lots of reviews, good reviews from people who listen to the show. As of right now, it's one of my highest viewed episodes.
It's the mullet.
The mullet, the power of the mullet. So I had to when you jumped on this morning on the Facebook Live, I just I don't do anything scripted, so right. I had to I was like, you know what, this would be kind of fun. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's just talk about the mullets. Let's go ahead and bring it in. And so I threw the challenge out there. And before I got on, I think we were at 299 this morning, and I think about an hour ago we were at 303.
There you go. We're going to get there. We're gonna get there.
47 more by December 15th. I'm glad you remembered the date because I forgot it.
A minute, I was like, did he say 5th or 15th? And I was like, we're gonna make it 15th, and if I'm wrong, I'll edit it.
Oh yeah, it's the 15th. I want you, so my crew, my team over here, they're excited about it. They really are. They're gonna try and push it, and yeah, I know. Once the word starts spreading out by tomorrow and Tuesday, it's gonna go viral. I can see it now. I think Alan and Chris now know about it, so they're gonna. If I know Alan, and oh, by the way, so the Drunken Cryptids Tavern. So the tavern, I'll tell you the history of the tavern. The house that I'm living in, the owner's father raised hunting dogs, so we had these kennels down here in the backyard. Built a nice kennel for four with an outdoor shed built onto it. And I remember thinking this summer, I was like, that would look like that'd be a really neat outdoor bar. That would be really cool to do. So I got a hold of him and I said, hey, that's what I want to do. And he goes, well, Matthew, I'll just save the place and go ahead and do your thing. So I converted these kennels into this little outdoor tavern kind of bar. And it has taken off. That's where I do most of my recordings at, unless the weather's bad. So cracking jokes about the tavern. Well, Alan over there at Nevermore Hollows decided he was going to make the Drunken Cryptid Tavern part of canon for Nevermore Hollows. And that episode drops in the morning. So I don't know anything about it. I really don't. I know that I wasn't asked to do any voice work for myself, so I'm kind of curious to hear how I'm going to be portrayed in the show. So, but yeah,
that Chris is doing my voice with Meth and Camp. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them to tie in you and Eric from Uncomfortable for be regulars that relocate down there to Nevermore Hollows and to be regulars at the tavern.
That would be cool.
We got to have you with the mullet, though. Got to have you with the mullet.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, so that's a little bit of taste. So yeah, full body operation. My shadow, I've seen 3 shadow people. I've had 3 shadow people encounters growing up. I've had more paranormal experiences in my life than I've had cryptid. But it's fun to go out and research these cryptids. But to the Nalusa, though, Chris's encounter with the Nalusa is probably a really creepy encounter. We actually went out, reenacted it on the spot where it took place. And the whole time we were there, I was trying to figure out what the hell this creature could be, and started digging into it. And because it was a Bigfoot for sure, but we started digging into this, and the Nalusa is about the closest thing I can come up with. So I sent the information to Chris. Chris has now become one of my investigators, for my, expeditions and such. And he's all about it, and he agrees. So we have 2 areas. We have area 1, which is really spooky in itself, and that's where the Nalusa's at. And then area 2, that's where we have a structure. So we found a structure out there. It's fascinating. It's not man-made by any means, but it's been made, if that makes sense. Right. The property owner and Chris have been watching this structure be built since 2019. And then just a quarter mile up the road from the structure, we actually have a 411 case up there. The hunter showed up. Yep, the hunter came out there to hunt, go to a stand, and we don't know whether he made it to the stand, spent the day in the stand, decided to get out of the stand, and something happened to him. But, his truck was found there, all his equipment was found there, and he was never found there.
Oh, wow.
That's just a quarter mile up the road from where we have this lovely, structure at. And the area is called Bald Knob, Arkansas. And that's in White County. And for some reason, I just had a guy this morning on live comment about seeing lights in the skies in White County.
But why does that name sound familiar?
So if you do so this will make you laugh too, though. And I've been waiting for somebody to connect the dots. But for a couple of years, all of a sudden, up in White County, all these birds would just drop dead out of the sky.
Yes, that's what I heard about that. Yeah.
Yep. So I've been waiting for somebody to put the connection together. And so as soon as you mentioned it, like, hey, wait a minute, you're not from here.
Right.
So
I've
nobody
heard
else.
that. I hear a lot of stuff, and I don't know why. My brain is like a trap, and I'll hear stuff, and it stays in there, and then things like that happen. Like, oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yep. Well, that's what makes a good investigator and a good interviewer. So you're the first show. You're the first show that I've talked to about my theory so far about the birds and Bald Knob with up there in White County. I mean, I've got a guy that had spirals and leaves. The ground untouched, but something went out there on his hunting property and made these giant spirals.
Isn't there a Sasquatch encounter around there too?
There's a ton of Sasquatch encounters. So the area that we have in Bald Knob, we've got we linked up with another group by chance actually called the Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel, and they've been investigating in the same area right next to where we're at. I did a live show with them a little over a month ago, and they had one of their people had an encounter with a similar creature that Chris did. Fit the same description. I said that because Chris drew it out, and I sent the drawing to their team, and in a matter of minutes, the guy texts me back and he goes, "Dude, that's exactly what I saw."
I'm gonna look. I thought I saw a documentary about that Ball Knob and a Bigfoot. I'm gonna find that. I know I've seen something that Ball Knob thing. I know I've heard that multiple times on different things. I'm gonna look into that.
Yep, it's up there. So we tried to, I'm actually, so when deer season ends, we're going back in there, and I'm taking Todd Neese with me. So, and those of you who don't know, Todd Neese is a 30-plus year researcher. He's huge into the Bigfoot community. He relocated from Oregon, Washington area down here to Arkansas, and I'm lucky enough to call him a friend now. So I was just actually researching with him a week ago. So up there in Jasper, Arkansas, on the Buffalo River, where there's a ton of sightings, and that's where we filmed Searching for Sasquatch at.
Okay.
So we went back to some of the areas that we went through. We had some, had Jacob with me, so we took Jacob into there to show him around. And Jacob's my up and coming co-host and my like my little brother that I never wanted that I got, and I wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. That kind of thing.
I think he's here. I think he's in the chat.
Is he in the chat? Jacob, are you in here?
Pretty sure I saw him come in.
He better comment something. I call him my 411 because whenever there he is, so I call him my 411, and there's Jacob Waymeyer. Yep. So Jacob's my 411. So while we were up there, this armadillo was right in the middle of the trail. I told you this on the show, and he goes chasing after it. So I went to Hobby Lobby to get Christmas decorations yesterday, and they had an armadillo Christmas ornament, and I got it for him. I had to.
Oh, an armadillo, yes.
So.
Okay. I thought I lost you for a minute.
No, it might be my connection.
No, that's all right. Yeah, we're trying to hook Jacob up with somebody too right now.
That's right, ladies. I'm just saying, Jacob's single. He's a good-looking dude. He's my little brawny man. When he's wearing the flannel, and all he wears is flannel and boots. Jacob, I'm calling you out, making fun of you. I have to, because, like I said, Jacob's the little brother. Jacob's that little brother, like I said, that you never wanted, but you have, and I'm damn grateful to have him, to be honest with you. So Jacob's been a dear friend for well over 4 years, and he deserves all the best and all the credit in the world that he can get. So,
yeah. Well, man, I tell you what, I'm glad you came in tonight. Have to come back in sometime and go ahead and tell your aha story. I just know that's a long one.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I can kind of. I'll summarize it. You're going to go. I won't be able to do it tomorrow, but maybe next Sunday. If I'm not recording an episode, I'll jump on real quick, and I'll figure. And then you can guide me into verifying, and I'll get the video set up for you guys.
That'll work. So you should be doing some lives in TikTok. I think you could do some cross-platform while you're doing your interviews and stuff. I should, and I know I should. My time, like I said, single dad, so
Every
Yeah.
other week, I have my kids, and family first. And so, and they're good. They're getting used to it now, and they were they were real excited about the award that we won. So it's they know when I come outside, they're like, "You're going to the tavern to record." I'm like, "Going to the tavern to recording." And they're real good. They'll stay up there, and we have hand signals now, so they'll knock on the window to get my attention, and I'll look over at them, and they'll be showing and I'll give them the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
So everybody needs to go over, follow Drunken Cryptids on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm not as active on there as I should be, and I apologize for that. But
I'm trying to get them to your YouTube right now. We need to follow them here, and then click on that YouTube channel, click subscribe, because if we get him to 350 by the 15th, he's getting a mullet.
Well, I feel like now I should have bumped that number up to 400.
You pick the number. You pick the number.
I did pick the number. So, and I do appreciate the support, you guys following everything, and new subscribers to the show. I do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy it. A lot, with every episode, we're not even a year into this, but with every episode, we're going to get better and better. And not every episode is going to be for everybody's liking. It's going to be topics that not everybody agrees with, which is fine. I'm not here to, I can't appease everybody, but, there may be an encounter that you may be able to listen to and you may be able to relate to it. Something that's happened to you as well, encounter-wise. And if you want to talk, reach out. I'm available. I may not get back to you immediately. John, you know that already. But I will get back to you as soon as my earliest convenience.
Right. Somebody just commented something on Method Camp here.
Us girls are not getting mullets.
No.
Come on, AK-47. You probably you don't want to. I'm just saying.
Well, I do have this one. It's a punk rock mullet.
That reminded me of Motley Crue.
47.
That reminded me that's something Vince Neil I think wore during the late '80s for Motley Crue.
Anytime I see a unique wig, I've got to pick it up because I'm going to use it in a video at some point. So,
no, you should do it. You should keep doing 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 it. By all means, keep
That's
it up.
my philosophy. My philosophy is I do this for me, and if people get enjoyment out of it, that's even better.
Well, that's the thing is, and when it comes to my show, is I do it for me. I really do. The history of the Drunken Cryptids, and Jacob's part of that. During 2020, when they started letting up restrictions and everything, I retired out. The VA finally bumped me up to a high, increased my rating. I left I quit my job. I was like, I'm going to enjoy some quiet time, enjoy some non-working time. I make enough money now to where I'm able to, I can support myself and the kids. And so when I didn't have my kids, I had nothing to do. So there's this local little bar down the street, and I go down there and hang out. That's where I met Jacob at. And one night, there's nobody really in there. We always had the control of the jukebox and a little group of us that were hanging out. And we started one night just talking about paranormal and cryptid stuff. And we were right there in the corner. And where the bartender, Becca, she actually one night, she looked and she goes, just start a podcast. And I was like, I don't even know what a podcast is. And so kind of blew it off and was being pushed a little bit. Jacob was pushing. This other guy was pushing that we won't talk about it anymore, right, Jacob? And, for me to do it. So last year, I ended up on Sasquatch Chronicles with Wes Germer. And I got the bug, and I was like, no, that was a lot of fun. I'd like to be on the other side of the microphone, and I want to, get other people that talk about their encounters. So I ended up kicking it around and was getting ready to move into this house. And a good friend of mine, Matt, he kept pushing hard. He always wanted to get into podcasting. He always wanted to get into it. And I was telling him a year ago, I was like, listen, let's get through the holidays. Let's get through Christmas. Then, come January, we'll revisit it. And sure enough, I do fire pits, here. We hang out just before we built the tavern. So everybody would come over on the weekends and hang out. So Matt brought his laptop over and he goes, we're going to do it. What's the name of the show? And I'm like, hey, we're the Drunken Cryptids. And boom, I had the domain in a matter of minutes. And then boom, I had an email. And he goes, all right, let's play around with it. And I was like, whoa, no idea where the show was going to go. So Matt pushed me to do it and so we started it that way. Then unfortunately in April of this year, Matt ended up with a brain aneurysm and we lost him in a matter of 24 hours.
And I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so when we got the award, it was surreal. And the Drunken Cryptids, we started off strong, and we've had a lot of, if you're going to be successful at anything, you're going to have hiccups, and you're going to have you're going to have adversity come back on you. And this year, and Jacob will testify to this one since he's on here, we have had a lot. Tommy, my new producer, stepped up, and right off the bat, months later, you might be battling lymphoma. 2 weeks ago, he slipped off the work truck and broke his elbow. He just had surgery yesterday. So I call him Peels. Then Tony, who's one of my researchers as well, unfortunately, his dad passed away yesterday. So, I'm like, oh man, we can't afford to take any more hits. We can't afford to take any more hits. And because I'll be honest with you, Maddie passed away, I really thought that was the end of the show. And Tommy came in out of nowhere and said, hey, I used to do this for radio stations, and I want to help you out. I like your show. I want to keep it going. And Tommy's been a blessing in disguise of promoting. Within a matter of a couple of weeks of Tommy coming on, he had me on. I was just on YouTube, and then I was on Spotify. Then he got me on everybody. And through, of course, I didn't do this alone. I had a lot of help from Justin and Jay at Cryptids of the Corn. Through them, I was able to meet, obviously, Chris and Alan, Nevermore Hollows. Chris emailed me when he heard my episode. And I was a big fan of Eric over at Uncomfortable, and I took a shot and emailed him, and now me and Eric are friends. And so by doing this stuff, and now look at you and me.
Right. It's networking.
Exactly. So not only networking, but you get a chance to connect and make friends with people that you normally would never get a chance to meet and connect with.
Right.
And I honestly believe I bash the internet all the time, but through the internet now, I'm able to say that I got friends in Tennessee. I've got you as a friend. I've got Eric as a friend. I've got Justin and Jay.
Yep.
So it's a lot of fun. And if anybody that wants to do, oh look, there's Tommy. Tommy jumped in here. So, but if anybody really wants to, if you want to do this, just do it. Just sit down and start talking. And you're going to resonate with somebody, and you're going to inspire somebody, and you could be helping somebody out. And that's the whole purpose of the show. Yeah, Drunken Cryptids, we make fun, we have beer, and we have a good time. But at the same time, too, though, I know that somebody's having an encounter out there, and they're feeling lost, and they're feeling alone. And if you can't talk to me, come over here and talk to John. John would be more than happy to talk to you, and kind of guide you along. And we'll, that's what this community is about. And I don't know. I could ramble on forever. Sorry.
I know that's why our episode lasted for an hour and 45 minutes, because we're both kind of the same. We can just kind of go off on another topic and not stopping it.
No, well, yeah, like today. So I just want you to picture there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us on the show, and we go for about 2 hours, and we could have kept going if we didn't run out of time.
Right.
So our Thanksgiving episode, which is cool, like I said, it's going to be the same episode aired on 3 different podcasts. So, which is almost unheard of, because everybody's like going, no, I got to have my own. But this is still 3 podcasters who are helping each other out. And Eric's the biggest one out of all of us. He has a huge following. He's really big into out there. You mentioned the show Uncomfortable, and there's a lot of people who know of it. And so having Eric right there going, yeah, man, let's do it. We'll share it. And then, he goes, well, Matthew, this is your show, man. Let's do it. And I'm just like, all right, man, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no reason to be competing with each other. We're all trying to do the same thing. Might as well help each other.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, cross-reference and research as well. I don't have all the answers when it comes to cryptids. I'm not an expert, and I will never pretend to be an expert, even though I did play one on TV once, and I've never been on TV. But you're going to find stuff and you're going to get encounters that I've never heard, and vice versa. And once we start, the mystery of the supernatural and paranormal is going to be solved by citizen scientists like us. We're going to figure this out, and it may not be our generation, but the way it is now, we're going to be able to pass the torch to future generations who are going to be able to pull up through the internet our research, our shows, our episodes, and cross-reference what they've heard. Like my theory right now is the movie Predator. The two brothers that wrote it, I believe they fully had a Sasquatch encounter, and they based the Predator off of that. And I will die on that hill. And because if you look at the original Predator movie, how the Predator moves, with the mimicking of sounds, with everything minus you get rid of the technology. Okay, but keep the cloaking. You get rid of the technology. That's a Sasquatch.
Yeah, have you? I mean, even in Missing 411, if you on the one episode right at the end, that actually took place not far from here. He added this little thing about this woman in a tree stand seeing something cloaked going through the trees that basically reminded me of the Predator. But I thought it was odd that he added that on a show that kind of hints about Bigfoot. I think there's other people making that connection.
Well, and that's the awesome thing about it, because and the only reason why I started coming with the Predator thing, and it is by listening to other shows and listening to other people's encounters, and people talk to me about what they've seen with the cloaking, and naturally, there's lots of creatures that we have that automatically can, camouflage, natural camouflage, how they, like the octopus can do it, what's the other creature that can do it as well in the ocean? Chameleons can do it. There's, they can change their color and their patterns. I'm not saying Bigfoot can change his colors, but and Todd Neese has a great theory on this one, and we're going to run an experiment on it. And it's, the polar bear is not white. It's clear. And it's not, to where, Sasquatch may have some of that clearness in his fur, to where it'll give the impression of it cloaking, depending upon it knows how to move in the shadows, it knows how to move in the light, and it can make that it can technically cloak. But you also got to think about a creature that's what it does. It's not a creature that comes out and just goes waves everybody, goes, hey, I'm right here. This is its natural ability to do it. And then I also look at, not only for that, but, for the markings, the bent trees, those sightings that we have out there, to where, allegedly they are leaving marks like that. And a lot of people think that they're using them for, trail guides on like a GPS form. And my thing is, I think it's a territory marker against other tribes, to where, it's like, that's your living room. You don't need a GPS to go from your living room to the bathroom. You can just walk right to it. So why would they need to put up X's up there to do this? And I look at, the Native Americans. What drives me nuts about that is if you look at the history of what we know scientifically about animals and creatures and such, it's all based upon a whole bunch of snobby people who went to some colleges in the 1800s who know everything. And they travel to like the Congo, they travel to like, North America, they travel to, all over the world, where these, natives have been living there for, generations and eons, and have had encounters with these creatures, and they're talking about these creatures. And now we don't believe it because some white guy shows up and goes, no, according to my Oxford education, you're an idiot, and that's not the case. Because I'll be honest with you, the people over in Africa, they know what a giraffe looks like. They know what a rhinoceros looks like. They know what a lion looks like. So they know what a crocodile, alligator looks like. They know these things. They know they have to survive in that environment. So for someone to come along and tell them that they're full of crap for what they're seeing, that just shows exactly where cryptology was born from. There's other people who went whoa, like the platypus. When they brought the platypus back to England, they thought it was a made-up animal. And it's not. It exists. So if the platypus can be real, why can't Sasquatch?
Exactly. I mean, even if you take the gorillas in Africa, white people didn't even know about them until early 1900s or something like that.
Yeah,
And
the upper mountain gorillas. Yep.
about them.
Yeah, we're lagging. I'm sorry.
There always is a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, and I like to talk a lot too. So, but hey, John, I appreciate you letting me jump on here real quick. I'm gonna go back in and check the kiddos. So if not, I will keep doing this all night long. As Tommy and Jacob, who are in here, will attest to that one. So
before he leaves, click on Drunken Cryptids, give him a follow. After my live, go over, follow his YouTube channel, and then watch my episode, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets on Drunken Cryptids. Just dropped last Thursday.
It's a great episode too. Y'all definitely listen to that one. It's a great one. There's some really good ones in there as well. You did listen to that Tommy's encounter he had in Kentucky. He had like a phantom haunted rainstorm.
Tommy that's in here?
Yeah, my Tommy, my producer in here, Tommy McClure. He just commented on it together.
After Matthew gets done talking?
Well, he might. No, he's probably doped up. He has surgery on Friday.
Well, that'd be even better.
I see the video his wife sent me right before he went under.
We talked about it. All right, man. Spend time with
brother.
Kid.
All right, man. I will text you tomorrow, brother.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bro. Later.
Bye. That was Matthew from Drunken Cryptids. And that's the reason our episode lasted an hour and 48 minutes, because we just spent 45 minutes on this show doing it. So,
next up on the show is Jacob. He is the co-host of Drunken Cryptids, and he had his own paranormal encounters. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Jacob, you want to jump in and tell something? We can do that. Send him an invite. See what he says. Two new messages. Jacob's coming in.
What's up?
Jacob, my friend, how are you?
Doing all right.
So, everybody, this is Jacob. He is the co-host of Drunken Cryptids. And ladies, he's single. I've been told I have to train him on how to be a cougar hunter.
Oh, God. That just give you trouble there, John.
Just everybody give Jacob a follow, too. You know, we're all here to help each other. But, Jacob, you say you have some encounters that you'd like to share.
Yeah, I got a good handful of paranormal. So, at the moment, I'm kind of getting all my camping gear ready because I'm going on a trip with the Bigfoot Cartel, and I forgot the other name they follow. But, yeah, I'm going to go up there to Clinton, go look for Bigfoot with them. Here in... So, but no, I've had some occasions with the paranormal, so that's how me and Matt pretty much would talk about at the bar and all that we go. So, mine started at the age of 9, or 8, technically. But, no, we moved here in 99, and we had a missionary house that our church let us get up and live in for a while before we got on our feet. So I had to step outside for a second. So one night about 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and there is something at the foot of my bunk bed. So how I describe it, it looked like my mom in 70s or 60s style nightgown. And of course, 8 years old, wake up, see that, Mom, what's up, Mom? Whatever it did, it turned to acknowledge me to a point, bent down, looked at me, made a face, and pretty much stood back up and walked backwards through my closet door.
So you could see its face.
Yeah.
What did it look like?
Almost like my mother. Like almost spitting image, almost.
So this thing like took the form of your mother, or just happened to look like her?
Just happened to look like her. I mean, I know for Alan from not Uncomfortable, but for Nevermore, he thinks it nearly took the shape of my mom, trying to, I guess, lure me in or whatever, or a trap. But when I acknowledge as it my mother, it, I guess, did not know what to do.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, and I got scared to the point I just threw my covers over my head.
Well, I mean, that is the ultimate shield against evil.
Yeah, I know, the best safe space for an 8-year-old boy. They don't see you, you're not there, apparently. But I mean, it's like, I mean, I've talked to Matt about this, and he goes, "Why didn't you get up and run to your mom and dad's room?" Which was pretty much right across the hall from mine. And I'm like, "You really want to get up at 8 years old and run past the door this thing just phased through?"
Yeah, and besides that, I mean, you probably wouldn't have been able to run with the pile that was in your underwear.
I know, right? But I mean, I was more afraid getting up, running past this door, and this thing phases back out and tries to grab me. So I just
Right.
take my bed with the blankets over my head.
So did you ever tell your parents about this?
Yeah, about let's see, about 22 years later. So I was about 30.
What'd they say?
They're like, "Why didn't you ever come out and tell us?" I'm like, "I didn't know how to explain it.
Right.
I just woke up from a dream and I thought I was still dreaming." And then it kind of dawned on me, it's like, this looks like mom. And this is almost like vivid memory. It was like, not like when you wake up and you can still barely remember the dream. This is like, I can remember it to this day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she was just wearing like a nightgown or something. It wasn't like, could you make out, like, was it dirty or did it look clean?
It was between a cream / whitish color. So, I mean, it didn't look dirty, honestly. But, I mean, it was just one of the, I could just pick it out as a 60s or 70s style nightgown down to your ankles. And my mom never wears that. If she did, she's only wore it once or twice. But I know my grandma wore it a lot.
Does your mom look like your grandma?
No.
No. Huh. Do you know any history on this house? Like, had anybody passed away in that house?
Not that I know of. I mean, we've only lived there for about a year after everything was said and done. So,
Does this house still stand?
yes, it still stands. I'll go over and look at it every now and then. It's probably maybe 2 miles away from where I live.
Do people live in it now?
That I know of, yes.
Maybe you stop by and say, "Hey, you still got a old woman living in the..."
Nope, I don't want to sound crazy. I'm like, honestly, don't. Like,
Well, I suggested this to another guest of mine. Maybe send them a letter
all right.
and be like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but this is what happened to me. I'm just curious if you had anything happen. If so, send me a letter back or send me a text or something. If not, throw this thing in the trash and forget about it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That'd be kind of crazy if they see that too.
Because they may be dealing with the same thing and thinking, "Oh, nobody's going to believe me," but they get a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, this happened to me." Maybe it'll alleviate something that they're going through. And if not, they're just going to throw it in the trash and be like, "Who's this crazy guy?"
Oh yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's not the only experience that's happened in that house before we left.
Okay.
So picture my room. So where my door is faces east. So the bunk beds are just to the right. That door where she faced through is just 4 steps forward to the left in the wall. So to the east was a big panel window, like a double pane window, two windows together or three. One night, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, woke up and did not have my nightstand by my bed as normal. It was over by the window. So I keep a glass of water on it because I'll wake up and chug water like crazy. I've always done it. So, of course, over by the night, well, I walk over to get a drink, and for some reason, don't know why, I just looked out the window. And across the street is a street light. And whatever this was, when it walked into the light, you can see it. And it was pretty much somebody walking a dog that was all ghostly. Like the dog was ghost and the person was a ghost walking a dog. So, and it like I've told Matt, and we try to wrap our head around it, and he thinks it's was it an echo? Some used to do that and passed away, and now they still do it. But the kicker is that you could only see it in the light. So when it walked out of the light, it just disappeared.
Really? So could you see through this person and dog?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, residual. Yeah, that's the word we were looking for. Residual.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, residual, not an echo. But yeah, and even Alan from Nevermore thinks it's the exact same thing as a residual.
That's what it sounds like. Maybe this guy and his dog got hit by a car right there or something.
Yeah, we've had a dog get hit out there before, but to my knowledge, somebody dying that used to do it, I do not know, because I know Alan asked me that too, and it's too far back to even remember that. But it was just, I know Matt's asked me what the dog was or what the person looked like. I'm like, dude, the guy was wearing pretty much blue jeans and a teal colored shirt. You could tell that to a point. And the dog was about the size of a golden retriever.
Wow. And you only saw it the one time?
One time. And it like,
so weird, man.
Yeah. Both encounters were only one time.
Yeah. One time's enough, though.
Yeah. Like, for some reason, on that encounter, it's just like I looked and watched it and just turned around and went to bed like nothing happened. Like the other encounter, it frightened me. Like I threw the blankets over my head. And this one, it's just like, turn around, walk back to bed.
Well, I mean, as a child, you got that wall between you. So, it was more like watching a television show rather than it being right in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that would freak me out. I mean, and this is about, you said you were only there a year, so yeah, you're going to be 8 or 9. Yeah. 8 or 9 years old.
So, but yeah, that was the only two occurrences that happened in that house. And then just later down the road, it was early 20s. My next encounter. A buddy and me freaking went out, had a couple drinks, and then came back to his place and started drinking. And this is done to be close to Halloween. For some reason, I do not. 2 of my encounters are on Halloween. Do not know why. It's just, I guess, ironic. But
that time of year, the veil's thinner. I mean, that is the reason the pagan did their rituals during that time of year.
Oh yeah, they did. But I mean, yeah, we had a few drinks. I didn't want to get drunk. I still wanted to go home, sleep in my own bed. So I told him I was gone. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, apparently, after I left, he had 3 other people come over. 2 of his buddies and one of his girlfriends come over. So their girlfriend. So, to get where I came over, before I tell you what they did, I come over the next day. So you can kind of see when a house is warm and inviting when you walk into it and all that.
this felt cold and did not want you there. Like the first night, yeah, welcoming, warm, whatever he did over that night felt cold, did not want you there. So I ended up having my coffee cup or mug, set it on the table, and kept noticing it going on to the other side of the table after I walk out of the room. So I distinctly moved it, put it on this side of the table. You come back, it's on that side of the table or on the opposite side. And I kept getting little glimpse of stuff from my peripheral vision of like something watching me or ducking in on the doorway jams. And I'm like, okay, something feels wrong. Just does. And we went out to the garage to do something, and he got something on his shirt, so he went up to go change. Comes back, turns around, and it looks like somebody clawed up his back. Like a female.
Was on his back?
Yeah, like, you know how I described it to Alan was pretty much rough sex.
Yeah.
Scratch marks. And I'm like, dude, did you do something when I left or whatever? Who came over? Did you screw your girlfriend or what? And he goes, no, she's out of town. I'm like, okay, go look in the mirror. He goes up, looks in the mirror. He goes, holy crap, no wonder why my back was itching or irritating. I'm like, yeah, what did you do? Something's off about this house. And come to find out, one of his buddy's girlfriend brought a Ouija board.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. How he described it, he's never seen one. So he described it as a board with letters and numbers. I'm like, you messed with the freaking Ouija board. He goes, that's what she called it. I'm like, yep. I'm like, you let something in or something's tethered to you. And after I found that out, I told him I'm never coming back to this house. I do not want nothing a part of this house. You better go do something or whatever, get this thing untethered from you or whatever it was. And I have not talking to him in about 10 years. I don't know if he's doing it or even if he's still alive.
Yeah, that's like what Matthew was saying. You know, you see these things in the movies and they all look like fun and games or on TV shows.
Yeah, and that still gives me chills.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy cow.
But it was one of those things. I lost a good friend over it, and I kind of hate that for him. But it's just, I don't want it tethered to me. So that's when I told him goodbye, and I meant it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, that's, yeah. Don't mess with Ouija boards. I know they look like fun. They sell them at Walmart. You know,
they do. Seriously?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a board game.
Good God.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just okay. So the next incident I have was probably 2 or 3 years later. After that, one of my buddies spent the night at his house, and he kept claiming that his trailer was haunted. He lived in a single wide trailer close to out there towards Conway, Mayflower area here in Arkansas. So he claimed that he could hear running down his hallway. And he kept saying it was haunted. Him and his girl is for some reason in like a witchcraft type deal. So I don't know if it's from that or not. But yeah, I would sleep on the couch, and I'm a heavy sleeper, so apparently the next day I didn't hear it. Spent the night there 2 more times. On the 3rd night, apparently I woke up in the middle of the night, and you could hear something running down the hallway. Like heavy footsteps. So I did not say nothing to him because I was to that point, I'm like, I'm out. Woke up the next morning and left. I asked, he called and asked me, he goes, why'd you leave it? He goes, did you hear those footsteps? I'm like, yeah, that's why I left.
Yeah, I don't think I'd stick around either. I mean, especially when you're just trying to sleep there. I mean, you're not going there ghost hunting or something. You're not expecting to see ghosts. You're not wanting to see ghosts. And now you got something running down the hall.
Yeah. But yeah, never could figure out what that was. I know Chris from Nevermore was saying something about it could be something on the land, and it just ended up running through the trailer and making the noise in the trailer. I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't want to stay around. I don't deal with that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris is still here or not. He was in here a little while ago.
Yeah, I think I missed him.
Yeah, he stopped in and said, I saw him comment a couple times, but I was in the middle of talking to either you. Oh, I think I was talking to you at the time when he came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I saw him.
Oh, he's here. Yeah, he's still here.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a kind of a weird experience because that was just a short-lived little one, so I was kind of lucky got out of that one.
Yeah.
And then the next deal I had, this one I think was a residual, if not an echo. Like, we have a little battlefield here in Jacksonville, Reed's Bridge. Just a little skirmish went on during the Civil War. And, of course, all Halloween night, me and my buddy got a little dumb and goes, hey, let's go on this battlefield and see if we can hear something or just see how far we can go on this battlefield until one of us gets creeped out and runs back to the truck. So 2 of us are brave enough. The other one got yellow and stayed back at the truck. So we run out and almost 50 feet into running into this. Oh man, it's not really woods. I mean, it's just little open area with trees. Run in there. There's apparently so from the bleachers that we sat on that to the main road was 250 yards, almost, maybe short few yards. Fog come running in, and you cannot hear the road. It's thick, dense fog. And we sat there for about 30, maybe 45 minutes just to see. And I'm pretty sure my buddy heard it, but I'm not 100% sure. I started hearing marching. Like a group of guys marching in formation. And then you hear that stop. That owl sounds weird out here. That's weird. But marching, barely hear gunfire from musket fire, and then I hear what I call a fake cannon fire. Like I looked at him, he looked at me, like this is weird. We're like, okay, you hear the marching again. We got up and turned around and hauled butt. So, like I'm saying, I mean, when we pass a certain tree line, we're out of the fog. You can hear the noise of birds and all that, but in that stuff, you could not hear anything from outside.
So it could have been some kind of like, I don't know, like a time slip or something.
I think Matt was thinking about that too, but I'm not 100% sure. But like, I mean, we just stayed out there. like, oh, this is kind of neat. And all of a sudden you hear this and it's like, okay, goosebumps. This is creepy. What the heck is going on?
Oh.
We're going to stay a little longer. I don't know if someone's walking up to us trying to figure out what's going on. About that time we heard this, we clicked to each other, looked, and be like, okay, this is creepy enough. Let's haul ass.
Yeah. The fact that there was no like environment sounds, that's creepy enough.
Like to the point you couldn't hear a freaking semi truck on the fucking main road. It was that thick of fog.
Oh, so it wasn't just that you couldn't hear crickets and stuff. Like it blocked out the rest of the noise from the area.
Yeah, it did. It blocked out everything, and it was like its own little bubble.
Yeah, dude. I mean that's freaky. That could have been some kind of like time slip, or I don't know. That's bizarre. I like it though.
Yeah.
And that was pretty kind of weird because he asked me about that. I was like, dude, you could cut the fog with a knife. It's how dense it was.
Wow.
And I mean, from the truck that we were parked in was probably 175 yards away. That's how far the truck was. We could see it, and it's like, we come running out of the fog, and our buddy's like, what's going on? What's going on? We're like, screw this. Let's get in the truck and go. He goes, what's going on? We're like, we heard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
So he missed out. He probably got the lucky of the two. Lucky of us three. So.
Yeah. Holy cow. Jacob, I tell you what, you've been one of my favorite guests so far. You got some, buddy.
Yeah, I think that's the only ones I've had so far. I don't plan on wanting any more.
Well, I tell you what, after you get done with your Bigfoot hunt, maybe you can come back in and tell us how that went.
I definitely do. I know we're going out December 6th, 7th, and 8th, camping 2 nights. I think it's over at they're in Clinton. I think it's Castle Rock over here in Clinton. Apparently somebody on his property has something going on, so we're going to go look for it.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know Matt wanted to go, but he has his kids, so.
Is it with a crew, like doing a documentary or anything?
No, I think they're going out looking. I think they're going to have some cameras, but I think they're just more for documentation, see what they can find and all that. Some photos. I know it won't have signal out there, so a lot of people ain't going to be calling on the phone. But
yeah, definitely, if you come across something and want to come back in, you got an open
I definitely will. I know I'm going to be freaking armed when I go.
Don't blame me one bit. All right.
Yeah, especially up there, they got mountain lions and bears, so.
Yeah, and the Bigfoot. So everybody, follow Jacob over here. He's part of Drunken Cryptids, and hopefully we hear back from him, and he's not a missing 411.
Yeah, what Matt calls me.
But yeah, right, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Welcome, John.
I'll have this episode up hopefully next weekend sometime.
All
right. Thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
And that is the end of the interviews. I do have a little additional content here. I do like some of the fluff that happens during the lives, and I hope you do too. I find it humorous, and it kind of just gives you a feel of what the lives are like. So, until next time, this is John Methenkamp. I'm trying to get all these Talk done. To you later. Gotta go. I tell you what, a lot of people think it's just record and just upload. There's a lot more to it. You know, I've got to go through and make sure that I take out personal information, things like that. And, like I said early on, it's not that I don't trust you people. I like you people. But there's some people I just don't trust on here. I don't want them showing up at my house. I mean, Chris is weird, man. Have you seen the dude? I mean, Copenhagen knows my whole family. You know, I can't have him showing up at my house. Yeah, editing is tough. It is tough. Right. Cougars, it's already hard enough keeping the Cougars out. Now I got to worry about my fans. Yeah. All right. We've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes. I think this is a good place to end it. It was a pretty good show though. You know, got Matthew. Make sure you're following Drunken Cryptids. Go over and follow their subscribe to their YouTube because I want to see Matthew and a mullet. Make sure you're following Nevermore Hollows. I say it all the time. People ask me, you know, why do you always mention Nevermore Hollows? I don't
if I mention something in my videos, it's because I like it. You know, whether it's Nevermore Hollows, whether it's PBR. Yeah, I drink PBR. I really do. The red male enhancement pills from the convenience store, you know, but you got to get them from the one with the Indian that's running it, and they sell the hookahs. That's the only place to get them. You know, if I mention them in my lives or I mention them in my videos, it's because I use them. And that was all made up about the male enhancement pills, okay? Don't report me. So anyway, but Nevermore Hollows, dude, it's great. And that's the reason I bring it up all the time. These guys, they've got something special over there. And I encourage everybody to follow Nevermore Hollows. Give them a listen. There's a ton of stuff on their YouTube and on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Chris, you know, his artwork is amazing. Yeah. That's the reason I bring him up all the time. Because if it's something that I enjoy, I'm bringing it up. That's the reason I started doing this stuff. I enjoy the paranormal.